Good morning, my lovely kiddos and my future mathematicians. Today we're starting off a new semester on page 1 in our notebooks, and we are talking about mean, median, and mode. Now, these words should sound familiar to us as we should have learned about this in middle school, but today we're going to take it a step further. Mean, median, and mode. This is also known as measures of central tendency. So our whole goal of everything that we do today is to find the best representation of the middle of the data that we are given. So let's define mean, median, and mode first. So mean is your average. And the way that we are going to find this average is by taking the sum of our data, which means we're going to add up all of the numbers, and we are going to divide it by the total number of values. So if I give you 8 values in a set of data, then we would divide everything that we add together by 8. Our median is probably my favorite. And this is to find the middle number. To find the middle number, the first thing we're going to have to do is to write the data from least to greatest and find the middle value, so the one right in the center. Sometimes our data will be nice and be an odd number, that it is just one single number, and that is our median. Sometimes there's 2 numbers in the middle, and we will have to find the average of those 2 numbers. So add them together and divide by 2. And our last definition for right now is mode. And our code word for mode is most. To find our mode is pretty simple. It is simply the value that occurs the most. So if something repeats a whole lot, that is our mode. There can be no mode. So there can be none. If nothing ever repeats, then we have nothing that repeats the most, so there is no mode. We could have one mode if we have one value that repeats a lot, and we could actually have many modes if multiple numbers repeat. Okay. So we're going to get our first set of data, and this data is going to be the students' wages at the amusement park. So we're going to label that student wages, so what they make an hour, at an amusement park. Oop, forgot the R. Okay, so at the amusement park, we have one kiddo that makes $16.50. The second kiddo makes $9.10. The third kiddo makes $8.25. Fourth kiddo makes $8.65. Fifth kiddo makes $8.75. Sixth kiddo makes $8.25. Seventh kiddo makes $9.25. And the last kiddo, the eighth kiddo, makes $8.45. So the easiest thing to find here is the mode, what repeats the most often. So looking through our data set, I can see that $8.25 repeats twice and no other values repeat. So our mode, what occurs most often, is that $8.25. And we have to ask ourselves, is this a good representation of the data? If you were going to go and work at an amusement park, and I tell you with 100% certainty, you will make $8.25, does that do a good job of summarizing, of finding the middle value of this data? And I do not think so, because $8.25 is our lowest, our smallest value. So I'm going to say not good, because $8.25 is the lowest. Next, let me scoot up my paper first. Next, we are going to find the mean. So we are going to add up all of these values and divide by the total number of values. So to find our mean, we are going to add up 1650 plus 910 plus 825 plus 865 plus 875 plus 825 plus 925. I'm going to squeeze this here at the end, plus that 845. And once we get that value, remember we have to divide by the number of values in our data here. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 kiddos here, so we will divide by 8. Once we add all of this up, we get $77.20. Again, we have to still divide that by the number of values, the 8 wages for the 8 kiddos. And we end up getting $9.65. And we ask ourselves again, is this a good central tendency? Does this represent the data? If you start a job at an amusement park and I tell you that you will 100% make $9.65, does that represent the data? And again, I would say no, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kiddos out of the 8 that we're looking at make $8 in some sense. So I think this is too high to be a center value. So I'm going to say not good. Most make $8. Oh, I forgot the E. Make $8. And then the last one, and my favorite to find, is the median. It's just going to take a little bit of work. We have to write out the values from least to greatest. So to find our median, we write down least to greatest. So we have 825, comma, 825 again, then 845, then 865, then 875, then 910, and 925, and finally that big value, that's 1650. So to find the median, what we're going to do is we are going to cross out our smallest value and then our largest value. Then our next smallest value, our next largest value. Our next smallest value, our next largest value. And now we are left with 2. Remember how I told you that the data could be a little mean and make us find the average from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take both of these values, the $8.65, and add it to the $8.75, and then divide it by 2 to take the average. And that's going to give us $8.70, which I think is the best representation of the data that we have seen so far, because it's within $8 that most of our kiddos are making, and it is not the lowest value. So out of the 3 that we've seen of $8.25 and $9.65, I think that $8.70 is the best. So I'm going to write down best representation. Okay, we're going to switch over to page 2 now. So on page 2, we have another definition here. We're still talking about mean, median, and mode. Our first definition, and actually our last definition for today, is outlier. And an outlier is a value that is much bigger, so important, I'm going to underline it, much bigger, or much smaller than the other values. So thinking about the data set that we just saw, what the kiddos are making at the amusement park, we do have an outlier, something that is much different from the rest. I'm going to bring that back over here. We can see that one of our kiddos is making almost double the average here, that's $16.50. So we do have an outlier. I'm going to write that down, that our outlier is the $16.50. And now I'm wondering, what would our mean, median, and mode look like if we took out this outlier? I think that what we're going to find is something that is more representative of the data without that much larger value. So we're going to do that. We're going to find the mean, median, and mode again without the outlier this time. So our mode is going to stay the same, because $16.50 had nothing to do with our mode. It did not repeat. So our mode is still that $8.25 that repeated. I still don't think this is a great representation because it's still the smallest value in our data set. So this is still not great. Next, let's find our mean again. So we are going to add up all of our values except the $16.50 this time. So we have $9.10 plus $8.25 plus $8.65 plus $8.75 plus another $8.25 plus $9.25 and our $8.45. But here's the tricky part here. Since we took out that $16.50, we also removed one of the kiddos. We removed one of the values. So we can't divide this by 8 again. If you count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values now. So instead of dividing by 8, we're going to divide by 7. When you add all of these numbers up, we get $60.70 divided by 7, which will give us the average of $8.67. Now, I think that is a much better representation than the original $9.65 that we got the first time that we did our mean. This is within the $8 that most of our kiddos are making, and it is not the lowest value. So I would say this is a much better representation. Now we're going to find our median, which is in the exact same order, except we're leaving off that 1650 as our greatest value. So we have 825, another 825, 845, 865, 875, 910, and now our largest value of 925 because we took away that 1650. And to find our median, we cross out our smallest value, then our largest value, then our next smallest value, and our next largest value, our next smallest value, and our next largest value. And this is what I was talking about when our data is nice and we are left with just one number. So our median here is at $8.65, which I think is a much better representation of the data. So we can tell anybody looking to work at an amusement park that you will make around $8.65 or 67 cents. Okay? And then I would like you guys to try a problem out on your own. Again, finding the mean, median, mode. And I want you to tell me, is there an outlier in this data set? So this is going to be salaries. So this is much bigger numbers at an auto repair shop. So our data here, we have somebody making $32,000, $38,000, $42,000, $45,000, $41,000, $72,000, $38,000, and finally $35,000. Again, I want you to find, the easiest one to find is the mode, then the median, then the mean, then the median. And again, I want you to tell me, is there an outlier? You don't have to do it again without the outlier. I just want to know, do you think there is an outlier? Once you finish this problem, go ahead and submit a photo of your notes into Google Classroom, and I will see you kiddos tomorrow.